Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to 2025. I missed you. Welcome to this new adventure. A new year is here. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video. I took these few weeks off to spend time with family and friends. And I will say, not sitting at a computer desk for the last few weeks was incredible. It was not a stress-free holiday. It had its ups, its downs. Overall, it was great, but I'm definitely entering 2025 a lot more tired than I thought I was going to be. You probably relate if you've been with family or friends. It can be a lot. I missed creating. I missed talking. So why don't we start with New Year's resolutions? And I know they're crazy cliche. For years, I hated them because it's like, if you want to change something, just change it. Don't wait for an arbitrary date. But there is something about a blank canvas of a new year that does cause you to pause and think about where you've been and where you're going. And after the break I've had, I'm feeling a little more intentional, a good regroup, a good refresh. So first of all, I'm trying something a little bit different. Why don't we start with the gaming side, then we'll do the real life, resolutions. This last year in 2024, I finished more games than I have in pretty much any of the last 5 years. I was very intentional, I was very focused, and I was very strict about just playing mainly one game at a time until I finished it. And while that approach worked, it definitely did, it was rigid. It turned gaming sometimes into a chore, and I only really started to feel that in November with Mass Effect 2. And again, I really want to relax a little more this next year. I still want to be intentional. I don't want a bunch of the backlog guilt piling up, buying more and more games, because I'll look at a game or I'll go to a store and things are on sale. Even this holiday, I would cruise through like Target or Walmart or whatever and be like, oh my gosh, that's only like $15. But then the back of my mind's like, no, dude, that's like a 40-hour game. You probably shouldn't pick that up. So I'm not going to stress as hard about juggling a few games at once. Even right now, I'm playing multiple games at the same time, looking to see if there's a balance between the mindfulness, the intentionality, and just having a good time. Speaking of balance, I am hoping that the rumors of the Switch 2 dropping this spring are true. I know they're making some announcement about the Switch successor in this quarter that has been confirmed, but does that mean it's going to be a holiday release for Switch 2? I'm hoping, and my gut is saying it's going to be a direct, and then the Switch is coming out sometime like late Q1, early Q2. So I've got a handful of games that I'm trying to finish before then. But one thing I am doing is I'm working on a spreadsheet of games that I'm looking forward to play in 2025 and to cover here on the channel. So if you have any recommendations, drop them in the comments. I'd love to add to this list or hear from you all what you're most looking forward to. I think 2025 is going to be absolutely insane. And once I've got that spreadsheet dialed, I'll share it with the community and we can add and contribute to it together. Outside of gaming, one of my biggest personal goals this year is learning to not overreact to stressful situations as often. It's kind of funny. In some areas of my life, I feel like I've gotten pretty good or pretty chill, right? When it comes to family or friends, though, I'm not. I can totally spiral. Sometimes my brain just hits overdrive. A situation happens, somebody gets sick, something wrong occurs. Basically, anything unexpected comes up, and I can get locked in these silly, illogical thought loops that just make me sick with stress. It's not all the time, but it is enough to where it's like, I don't want to overreact as much. It's definitely not helping myself and not everyone around me. This year, I want to try and take a step back, breathe, not let those moments take over my mind. I can easily say that right now, but in the heat of the moment when something tricky is happening, that's when it's going to be really interesting to see, like if I could put that practice to the test. We'll see. If there's any tips for that, I'd be very interested to hear. Another big goal, decluttering, both physically and mentally. I kind of talked about this last year. Decluttering your backlog, decluttering the games and the things that don't bring you a bunch of joy. But I'm just talking in the real life. I've got boxes of stuff that have not been unpacked from multiple moves over the years. And I'm like, why am I keeping a box of like these old clothes? Clearly, if I haven't touched the box in a year or two, I don't need that stuff. a lot of it is gifts. Like you'll get something for Christmas. You're like, I can't get rid of that shirt. It's got all this emotional attachment to it. But do you wear the shirt? Do you use it? Would it be better off donating it and letting it have another happy life? And so I really want to focus this year on letting it go. Frozen style. I've realized the physical clutter often adds to mental clutter. Clearing out, creating space, that is a chance for new opportunities, new focus. And I'm not like a total pack rat, but I do have a few bins of like cables and things that I haven't touched for years. That is tricky. I have an Xbox 360 in a bin with 3 or 4 360 hard drives and all of these cords, and I don't want to get rid of it. But also at the same time, it's like, am I really going to use it? With consoles, I try and keep them because we don't know when backwards compatibility will shift away. But that's beside the point. The last like IRL one is the most cliche of them all, is just focusing on getting in good shape again. Last January, I broke my ankle. It's been about a year now. And while I did get into mountain biking later in the year, I was never that consistent. If you've been with the channel for a long time, you know I used to race mountain bikes. I love mountain biking. I didn't upload very much of it last year, purely because it just was hard to fit in. I would still go when I could, probably 4 or 5 times a month. But I want to get back in the rhythm where I'm doing it 3 to 5 times a week, right? Or some kind of workout or something. I know what it takes. I just discipline, right? I'm aiming for a steady routine. Biking, running, lifting, whatever. It doesn't need to be extreme. I just want to be consistent. A little bit every day adds up, and that is the mindset I'm taking into 2025. I've also learned with resolutions, if I set too many goals or the goals are too lofty, you fail fast, you burn out quick, and then that's discouragement to start the year out. Bite-sized pieces, realistic goals, things that are just really achievable, and you can build momentum off of that. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's talk about what's been going on in the gaming world for me these last 3 or 4 weeks. I finally picked up PlayStation 5. The holiday sale looked good. I'd been saving for a long time. I'm really happy I did. This was a few days, about a week, I would say, before the Game Awards happened. The only games I picked up at the time was Astro Bot and then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Fell in love with Astro Bot, and I'm going to talk more about this on the next episode of the Dualcomm podcast. I mean, I'm only a couple of like puzzle pieces away from platinuming the game, and I've never gotten a platinum on any PlayStation game ever. It was perfect. It was so joyful and fun and chill, and part of not sitting in my office, on the computer at the desk, it was fantastic. Literally on a couch, playing a PlayStation, no distractions with a game like Astro Bot. I got through the Ratchet and Clank game on PlayStation 5, and that was insane. And then right now, I'm kind of just playing a little bit of Horizon Forbidden West, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they have on PlayStation 4 and PS5 the old school Legend of Dragoon PlayStation 1 RPG, the origin of this channel's name. I love that game. And wow, each of the games the last month have reminded me why I love this hobby. Astro Bot was pure creative joy. A reminder of how fun games can be when they lean into charm and innovation. The DualSense controller, I don't know if I can ever go back to another controller. This thing is sick if you've not experienced it. It's wild. It is so fun. Those little like pressure triggers and how much it just adds to the tactile feedback of the game. Ratchet and Clank brought the cinematic and over-the-top adventure with ridiculously nice graphics, a throwback to Legend of Dragoon. Horizon Forbidden West, it's been such a spectacle. It's gorgeous. The world building, the storytelling, it's all on another level. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I am not very far into the game so far, but I am blown away. The original Final Fantasy VII, when I was young, was such a formative game for me. It's top 5 of all time. If you've not played the PlayStation 1, it's so good. Seeing it reimagined like this is insane. So I'll dive deeper into these games in a future video, but for now, they've been a really nice way to recharge and reconnect with why I love gaming. There's so much good stuff right now. I can't even keep up. And if we're getting the Switch 2 this year, it's just going to be even more insane. And a year with so many big releases. So that's where we are as we step here into 2025. A fresh start, hopefully a little bit more relaxed approach to gaming. I want to stay calm, I want to declutter, and get into that routine for staying in shape. I'm excited for what's ahead. I'm more excited to share it with all of you. Thank you again for the ridiculous support this last year. Let me know your goals in the comments, whether it's gaming or life or whatever. Here is to a great 2025 ahead. Cheers, and I'll see you again very soon.